From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. I'm Ken Knapsack here on another Friday edition of the ForceCenter call-in show. Catchy name pending. Hey, everybody. If you're just joining, you're here early. If you're joining later or watching a replay, I'm glad you're here as well. We'll be taking some calls today. If you're a Patreon supporter, the link... dear God, I hope is up. I do believe I put it in there. Usually, David McKay's a good admin assistant. David, did I put it up there? I think I did. It's been quite a week. I definitely intended to put up there, but I'll get it up there. If not, or I might just drop it in the Discord to make it easy. But we put them up on the Patreon page so that you can be sure that you, as a patron supporter, get access to that there. I am alone today, alone together. That's what it is, with you all. As you know, Jennifer Landa, in the throes of higher education. So Fridays are always tough for her to join, but she sends her regards and hopes to return to the show as normal next week. David McKay says it's there. Thank you, David. Thank you. I mean that. Joseph Scrimshaw not here today. I mean, there's a chance he could call in from the airport, though I think he has landed. Joseph is back. I don't want to say home because I think LA's his home, but he's back where one of his homes and where it all started in Minneapolis, out there in Minnesota, for the premiere of his first feature film, Dead Media. If you're local or can get to it, I highly suggest you get a ticket and head on over there. It's going to be a fun event. I was trying so hard to get out there. This would have been a weekend when ForceCenter was completely silent because I was going to try to fly out there and be part of the festivities. I just couldn't do it. Can I blame some of it on a 5-pound chihuahua? Yeah, I can, a little bit. But I really goes without saying that we're tremendously proud of what Joseph has accomplished already and more to come with the project. So head on out and support, and we'll get a full report from him a week or two after here. So also, you can see in chat here, I do have a poll. It's a mysterious poll. It is a pick a number poll. The choices are, and truly for no reason, to those asking, 27, 43, 6, 56, hut, hike. I'll explain that in a bit. One of the things we want to get to today, it's the main thing with your calls, is I wanted to celebrate the life and legacy of Drew Struzan. On October 13th, the Star Wars fandom and the movie fandom at large sadly had to say goodbye to artist Drew Struzan. Born in the heart of the post-war boom of 1947, Drew would go on to become one of the most sought-after artists for movie posters, comic book covers, album art, and a whole lot more. It is no large leap to suggest that Drew Struzan's work, especially his work on Star Wars, helped paint the picture of our love of story and imagination. And his art, in many ways, was our view to a larger world, especially if you were discovering his work when you were young. And today I want to join you all in celebrating his art and legacy. So if you have a favorite poster of his, you want to talk about it, you want to talk about the first time you really knew who he was and how his art affected you. And I would love if any of you were like, oh, I got an album cover I love. I'm not as familiar with his album art and his work in that realm as his work in the Star Wars and Indiana Jones and just, the 80s and beyond. This was, life goes on for all of us. We get older. The realities of life are there. We start having to say goodbye to some of these legends, but it's just still not fair. And 78 to me is still too young. There's still so much left to do and so much to accomplish. And Drew, what was great is had at one point retired, but kind of had come back at times for more work. And that's actually one of the things I was just thinking about, some of the art that he's put out there. It's no ranking system. We don't want to, devalue art by just arbitrary numbers attached to it. But by the way, check out the poll with arbitrary numbers, please. I love his Force Awakens poster. I absolutely love that because it was, in a film that was very much about, hey, we're home again. And look, you could have ongoing discussions about nostalgia and the weight of it. I still think many of the themes in 7, 8, and 9 were us as a fandom and the characters having to wrestle with their own nostalgia and their own legacy. But it was nice to have a Drew Struzan poster back in play in the Star Wars galaxy. Absolutely one of my favorites. So that's another one there. And I was thinking, I mean, again, hard to pick one. You don't want to pick one. I mean, it could be it could be a Stallone picture. He did the poster for First Blood, and it's beautiful. I still think the quintessential one might be Back to the Future. I don't know what you all think there. Again, there's no wrong answer here. The Indiana Jones work, Goonies, the Star Wars, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi box set covers. Those things are legendary. But that Back to the Future, the poster, is so iconic, and we throw that word around, of course. If from my movie fighting past, iconic. But I think that one stands the test of time. So, anyways, that's what's going on. I'll keep talking about that throughout our conversation today, but this show is really about you. So please call into the show. As you know, we are camera ready on this show, not doing just audio unless you absolutely want to. If that's the case, turn off your camera, and I will try to make sure that you're not seen. But I think I got it set up here. Yeah, I think I got it set up for just audio. So I think our first call is just going to be audio because, I accidentally set up the camera ready calls last week, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was fun. So let's go ahead and take our first call from Dr. Addy, our resident professor of smart things over on my show, The Blathering. Addy, you're audio only because I can see here in the queue that you're driving safely 10 and 2. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ken. How are you? I went for a walk, and then I'm picking up my dinner, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to call in and talk about how beautiful this man's art was and what it did for movies. So
yes, please. I'm glad. We'll all figure out what your dinner is. Maybe when you hit that drive-through, what is it? Is it Jack in the Box? Can I predict Jack in the Box? No, that's regional. You don't have it out there, huh?
No, Chinese takeout.
Ooh, okay. That's a Friday night. That's a Friday night of fun. But I agree with everything you're saying, Addy, about the art of Drew Struzan. It is not just a cool movie poster. It helped build a lot of our young, youthful eyes' perspective on these things. So take me away. Take it away. What's on your mind?
It's such an iconic look. Like, you just listed off so many posters that I never even strung together that they all had that same look, except that they all had that same look. It is of that era. Nowadays, you wouldn't think about the fact that somebody drew that by hand because, let's be honest, that's like a Photoshop filter. But they're so iconic. And the first one that came to mind for me when I was thinking about this earlier today, especially from a Star Wars perspective, although you pointing out the Back to the Future posters, those Back to the Future posters are chef kiss.
Yes.
Especially the iteration of 1, 2, and 3. But anyway, the Attack of the Clones poster.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's so iconic in so many ways. He so perfectly captured the sweeping love story that is the heart of that movie, for better or for worse, and that the pose of Anakin and Padme in his arms, like, it does something to me, Ken.
Yeah, and what you're talking about too is something I think will come up today from a lot of calls and callers and me again is like I see some of his earlier work. The Attack of the Clone stuff comes a little bit later in all of our lives, but mine in particular. And I love it. By the way, I think I was going to say this too. I didn't mention it up top. I think my favorite Star Wars poster of his is the Phantom Menace poster. I just absolutely, with the mall in the background. So I think he nails the prequel posters here. But the Attack of the Clones one, you're absolutely right. It is a sweet romance. But you're talking about, I see some of his work. And whether or not I fell in love with the movie or watched the movie, that includes Hook or what is it? I think he also did he do Escape from New York, or was it Big Trouble Little China? Which one did he do?
Hook.
Big Trouble Little China, right? And Hook he did. Even though I don't have a greater connection to those movies, I have a connection to that time. And so I see those even now here on a Google search, and I'm immediately transported to Friday night as a kid walking into the movie, the movies to go, video rental spot in my hometown. I'm transported back to that immediately.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like you're rattling off movies, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did have that look. Like they had such an iconic look to them, but they were also so classic that like a lot of movie posters nowadays, they all look the same. I know there was a joke a few years ago, but like there was a run where like all of the Marvel posters were exactly the same thing, just iterated, like the group shot and the big guy in the background and like everything. But like all of his work, you can see the common thread of one artist doing it without it being heavy-handed, that like it's the same thing over and over and over again. Like it was an iconic look that just was a feeling. And I'm sorry I'm not more eloquent about this.
No, I'm right there with you. I don't have the $2 words to say it, because his work always just struck chords of emotions in people, and I saw, not surprised. That's why we're celebrating his work today. But I saw so many folks who like this loss hit them deep, and as Star Wars fans who celebrate the lore, and I'm always banging on about the behind the scenes lore, and that's why we love Phil Tippett and know the tales of John Dykstra and so on and so on. Drew is part of that. And of course I think comes on a little bit later in the run, but that's what you're talking about. There's no words to describe the warm, gushy feelings of the comforts of our youth watching movies.
Well, and sadly, I have to admit, it wasn't a name I knew until away, because I'd never really thought about the artist behind this art. Like I said, I grew up in an era, nowadays where most movie posters are just photoshopped.
Yeah.
So like there is no art to it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and
so,
I hope we can get back to that.
I was a fan of this man's work before I knew he existed.
I think that's a sign of good work, right? He just was. His work was there. His work was everywhere. It was, I think it's similar in a way. I really do to the work of John Williams from this golden era of movies on, where he just was. He just is, and John still going, but it's like, he was out there in the ether, whether you knew him or not. You're humming along to his music as a kid. I didn't know as a kid. I didn't know who John Williams was, or later on who Drew Struzan was, until I started getting the magazines and the books and all those things too. But you're right. It just was a part of us.
Absolutely.
All right. I absolutely appreciate you calling in, Addie. I do want you to get your Chinese food safely, but have a good Friday night.
Hands free now. I've pulled into the parking lot.
There you go. Thank you, Dr. Addie. We'll see you on the Blathering later this week.
Yes, sir. Silly Saturday.
Silly Saturday indeed. We are here, folks, live on Friday. It's the ForceCenter call-in show. Ken Napzok hanging out with you if you're just joining. Of course, Jennifer Landa and Joseph say hello. Joseph Scrimshaw is in Minneapolis to premiere his first feature film, Dead Media. And then the journey really begins. This is just like one of the finish lines. Then he's got to even do more work on the film, get it out to the world, and he appreciates your support. I don't want to speak for him ever or Jennifer, but I know he's very appreciative of those in the ForceCenter community, all of us who have rallied behind him on this wonderful thing. So we are rolling on here and going to take more calls. If you want to call in, you, of course, just got to be a Patreon supporter. Trying to be camera ready, but if you don't have a good angle, you don't have the right amount of makeup on, or you're driving to get Chinese food in your car, does not mean we'll have to take your camera. I think it's fun to see your faces. Or the porgs there. Ryan, we got a call from Will lined up here coming in next. Ryan says the John Williams poster artwork, indeed. Jeannie from Tahini's Raiders of the Lost Ark is the quintessential movie poster to me. I agree with that. Ryan also said the 1997 special editions hold a special place in my heart. Yeah, they do. And the thing about that is, the special editions come out and they're in some ways, parts of them are very maligned. Understandably, in some ways, we can have the Jedi Rocks conversation anytime people want. It's still maybe the lowest on my rankings of Star Wars moments in the special edition, though I've come to appreciate Joe Yauza more than I would have thought in 1997. But even for that, and I always love talking about the special edition generation, people like my friend Billy Patterson, people like my friend Maude Garrett, who those were their first real exposures to Star Wars. Drew's art is part of that. And that's where it kind of becomes, I think, a staple in Star Wars is his art around that era. So love that there. Will McLean also says, he shared this in Discord. I know the franchise is where it is now because of the author, but the poster for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that he did meant and means a lot to me. Yeah, and I think that is fair to say. Absolutely. That work, those films, still going to be in our souls despite everything around it. And I think it's fair to point that out, Will, and wonderful there. Well, let's take another call here. This one's going to be video ready. Will, checking in. We got another Will. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
It's a great Friday hanging out with all of you, celebrating the legacy of a great artist. But what brings you here with your Drew memories or beyond?
Drew memories. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer myself, and so nice. I feel obligated to call in and and toast the great Drew Struzan. I just wanted to share that in art school, this would have been in 98, 7, I guess, would be my first year there. You would pass rows of cubicles in the illustration department where it'd be a Struzan poster hanging. You'd have Big Trouble in Little China, you'd have the Back to the Future, or people painting directly from his stuff, and you could see I can't. How do you compose like this man does? And right. I don't know if Brian Ward is here today, but the art of those compositions is. It's one thing to look at those posters and see, they're very good, but his compositions are incredible. And to try and mimic that, go out and try and cut up a magazine and arrange stuff nicely and see how easy it is. It's very, very tough to get stuff to look the way he did, and have it be coherent. And so, anyway, I just wanted to mention that to start off.
No, I love that perspective. I love that from sort of an insider's perspective on what it meant, and what a legacy too for him. That if I'm sure you are not the only art student or design student who had his posters up around you, and so did your colleagues and classmates. That's part of his legacy. I'm sure he inspired many people to either get into it or get better at what they're doing. Though it's hard to keep up with someone like Drew Struzan's, but. What is beyond the composition? What is the secret? When you look at it, for me, there's this great humanity in his work. That's why what Addie was talking about, we can't replicate that with just clip art, basically high priced clip art on some of these movie posters. What about his work pulls you in even more?
The lighting. I mean, it's as simple as that. You mentioned the Back to the Future one before. I had it up the other day looking through, kind of reminiscing at some of his things, but it's spot on. That the Indiana Jones one, really every iteration of those. He just could. I know he the way, however it was that he worked, whatever shots he got for his reference were just terrific. And so I've tried to replicate his. I don't work like he does. I can do it with the aid of Photoshop and about a zillion undos to try and get like that sort of style, but to paint like he did and do it just straight up was it's really, really tough to do, and to try and control those elements. And especially if you're doing like a single spot illustration, if I'm doing like one panel of something, it's not that big of a deal. But to, like I was saying with the compositions, to try and handle all those arrangements and all those characters and not have, if the lighting on Kim Cattrall at the bottom corner of the Big Trouble in Little China photo doesn't match the Kurt Russell in the middle, like for an illustrator, that's a problem, because you got to be thinking about light sources and all that kind of thing. But he, without question, he was able to handle it every single time, and make it work seamlessly. So
seamlessly and effortlessly, right? Which is always a lie because it takes great effort and great skill, but that's kind of when it's genius, it comes out like that. What are some of the specific posters that have stayed with you? As you said, you were looking the other day for some of them.
Well, like I said, Big Trouble in Little China is one that pops to mind immediately. I think really with that one, just because my roommate at the time was a medical illustrator, and he was going through it, and just like, I don't know if this is the field for me. But he's like, but I'm not like, I don't work like you do. I'm not like a regular illustrator. He's like, I don't know what I could do. I guess I could do like try and do posters like this guy. And that was the one he was referencing. Where I'm like, you're you've got the skill to do that, I guess. But that one, because of that, the Phantom Menace one, I think I know that's been mentioned, but
yeah,
it's really great. Did he do? I think he did Masters of the Universe, and that's a weird pull, but like I love that one.
He did. No, he did. I was looking at it right now. You got Skeletor there. You got the '80s feathered hair He-Man.
Yes.
Is that a great picture? Is that a great film? No. Is the poster good? Yes.
He did. I think his Goonies and Hook also were pretty exceptional.
Yeah, Ryan Ridgway in chat mentioned that the Goonies and the many variations of the characters at the top of classic. Yeah, the Goonies one is pitch perfect as well. I mean, you're not going to find a mistake much in his work. There's a reason we're celebrating him, but I think the Goonies one is a step above too. Because for me, I'm even looking at his work with the Super 8 poster, which is just a perfect marriage of at that time a modern take on the old Amblin classic. You're going to absolutely want him to do it. But the Goonies one is just so full of energy. That's why and I know you as someone who's got more skills in this arena, like looking at the Indiana Jones ones, that Back to the Future one, I think is the top rated for me personally because it's just everything is jumping off that poster.
Look at the lighting. That's what I mean. It pops. It pops. I would also be remiss. My wife would be angry at me if I did not mention Blade Runner. That'd be her favorite film, and I think that's an exceptional composition too.
Yep. I'm like, yeah. I mean, we could just go down the list. I'm just looking at a Google search in the background here. I mean, hell, Muppet Treasure Island's on the list. Like you could go on and on and on. But yeah, we should just someone should make a nice Google sheet. Coming to America is there. Cannonball Run, which was brought up in chat, but I'd hang that Cannonball Run poster on my wall. Dean Martin, I mean, come on, it's all perfect. But he just captured it all so well, and I really appreciate you bringing in a little perspective as someone who has done this kind of work, even if it's not in the same exact style of Drew.
I hear you.
There you go. Well, I appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely. You have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later.
I will. We'll check it in here. One of our regulars around these spots there. Jeannie from Tahini. We got Elias hooked up here in the call queue next. But Jeannie from Tahini says, Struzan's work is just the wallpaper of my childhood memories. Thank you, Jeannie. I was trying to find the words up top, but that is kind of the words. That is absolutely kind of what his work is. It's like we talk about music being the soundtrack of our lives. His work is absolutely the wallpaper of our childhood memories, and thankfully many generations. And that's not tied to an era, but as time goes on and new generations discover the films and then therefore discover the work, I hope more continue to look up and discover who he is. Let's take a call here from Elias. Check it in. Elias, good to see you again. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Ken, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing absolutely spectacular, and really appreciate you all sharing your thoughts. So what's on your mind?
Well, I'm really enjoying looking at all these movie posters. Sad occasion, the artist passing, but something that came across my mind was I've seen almost all of these growing up a long time ago, and I never really remember looking at them carefully. Like how carefully do we look at this and just appreciate the art? It's really beautiful art, and I really love the Star Wars ones. My kind of favorite is probably the special edition covers. And it might be because that was probably the first like purchase like of anything I ever bought as a young adult. was I bought the special edition VHS tapes.
What I remember of those ones is when they came out, it's just like these were kind of the art pieces, the covers were kind of like a brand new take on something that was already a classic to me, even my young age. And so it was like, wow, this is new, but it was just so instantaneously timeless. Like, that's what I love about them.
Yes. They are just so, they're just awesome little movie posters on the little boxes. I don't have them anymore, but I'm looking at the pictures online now. And my favorite one is the Empire Strikes Back one. I think it's just the color, the glossiness, just the capturing of the characters. I mean, I love all of them. The Return of the Jedi one, I kind of laugh at the Chewbacca because I know you guys have joked about Chewbacca.
His hair? Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, the Empire one is so great because it is literally the Empire racing at you. There is not a lot of hope or rebels on it, right? It is. You got one little snow speeder trying to get out of the way of all these TIE fighters and the Emperor and Vader. But yeah, you know what's funny too is I always mention Chewie's Return of the Jedi hair, that he was in the 80s as well. But I think what drove it home for me was this poster later on. I was always aware of the hair, absolutely, but this kind of cemented, like, I didn't imagine it. Chewie's hair was a little different, and it's here on the poster. It's here in the artwork.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And as far as the non-Star Wars ones, I agree with you that Back to the Future one is so iconic. It just it's so tied to that moment in time, in my life. In the movies era of that time, it's really iconic. One that kind of stood out to me is the Risky Business. It's a cool poster.
I didn't. It's not on that one's not on the list. I do remember the film Risky Business, really 1983. Cool. So the same year you Return of the Jedi. We go, oh yeah, that's right. Establishing Cruise as a star. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Elias, I appreciate you sharing your favorite Drew Struzan posters. Do you have if you could hang one right now, is it the Empire one from Special Editions?
Yeah, probably. Although I'd probably have to put the Star Wars one, Episode 4 one up to balance out the gloominess.
Or just we all just hang Chewie in his 1980s hair on there. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for calling in and sharing your thoughts.
Thanks.
All right, Elias, check it in. We got a call from Jedi James next here, catching up with some comments. P1 saying something great. I totally forgot, even though I did watch this maybe last year myself. There's the great documentary on there. Such a talent, but also, as P1 points out, a gentle soul as well. This is someone who is, I think, loved by those around him, even more than the fandom that loves his work. He was absolutely a gentle soul. I think it's great to point that out there. 898 I love 898 is on a discovery journey here too. He's 898 aka Brady, says, God, I can just smell the popcorn. We're looking at these posters, and then wait, he did the thing. Igor the Mad says, I actually did a report on some of his work for an Art 101 course in college. Igor, that's great. You should share some of that in the Discord. That is absolutely beautiful there. Let's sorry, I'm getting you're trying to concentrate on your work, but then you're getting important texts that you also kind of have to deal with. What a world we live in. Let's get back to it. Let's get to a call here. We got Jedi James calling back into the show. Hey buddy, how are you doing? Let's talk. Oh, I think you're muted. Check your own or you might have to come in and out. It happens. There we go. Try again. No. Let me try to bring you back in. Sometimes it happens. You might have to go in and out or check your settings. Okay. I got you. Hey, it happens. We're live, people. We're live on a Friday here. It is the ForceCenter call-in show here on the Friday. Hanging out, taking your calls, sharing your love and memories of the work of Drew Struzan, posters. If you got one hanging on your wall, I definitely want to know that as well. And any more insights, call in the show. To call into the show, you got to be a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/ForceCenter. If you get in there, you'll find a post with the call-in link for today. It does not have to be camera ready on your end. If you want to just do audio, you disable your camera so in the queue there, I can see that you just want to go audio for whatever reason. No need to explain it. But if you want to share your smiling face with the Force Center world, we'd love that as well. I'm going to check on the poll. We'll wait for Jedi James to get back in here. Mysterious poll, 33 votes are in. I ask y'all to pick a number, 27, 43, 6, and 56. So far, 27 is leader in the clubhouse. The rest are pretty close there. So there you go. Yeah, so there we go. Let's Jedi Jam's trying to get back in here. So we'll take more memories here in chat. Any other questions, comments about the work? Neil Hanstock says, talking of Back to the Future, if you could borrow the DeLorean for a week and could only go to one time in the past or future, where are you choosing and why? You know, I used to say, often inspired by Back to the Future 3, I'd want to go to the Old West, 1882, kind of a year I'm obsessed with for a lot of various reasons, both real history and cowboy movies. But now I don't know. Now maybe I want to go to the future just to have a little chance in seeing that there's hope for us all. That's where I'd go. Any point in the future. I don't know. Maybe to like 2000, like December 2028. Might just zip over there to see if we did all right. Igor the Mad would go last week with the winning lotto numbers. Let's see. I'm trying to look at more of these posters. I love this discovery you're on, Brady. The Indiana Jones ones too. What more can you say? But there are also some great variations on them. You know, the alternate posters are the ones that I love just as much as the regular posters there. And I think showing that he had a full understanding of the characters, he could capture them in many different ways. I'm scrolling at some more. The Blade Runner ones, timeless. He did do Born in East LA as well. He did DC Cab. Oh God. If you all aren't familiar with DC Cab, you should definitely check out DC Cab as a movie, but also the poster. So there you go. Checking on the stream settings. Igor says there's the stream latency is set to low, but that shouldn't be too different from what it's been before. But let me know if there's any problems. Kyle Harlow says, I pity the fool who does not know DC Cab. Great 80s reference. All right, let's try again with Jedi James. All right, can we hear you now?
Am I good?
Oh, you're absolutely good. Yes. Thank you.
Right,
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for being patient with the tech there.
No, thank you for letting me
come
back in.
Share your Drew thoughts and your artwork thoughts.
It's funny because I didn't grow up in the 80s, so I feel like it's only in the past several years I really have started to recognize the name Drew Struzan. But in losing him, I feel like we're losing a John Williams, basically, which thank God that hasn't happened yet. Yeah. But it's just an artist of really great renown. Just when you really start to look at all his work, you just see the style and you can't unsee it anymore. He just has a style that really works for him. And I just think about all the amazing ways that I love movie posters, just like I love book covers. They're a snapshot into what the movie is, and so you have to capture it just right, whether it's a bunch of heads together like you sometimes see, or you see just like one simple image like his Thing poster. No matter what he did, he just always seemed to have gotten it, and his Star Wars movie posters are just amazing. My personal favorite probably has to be Revenge of the Sith, because that's my favorite Star Wars movie, but I just love how he has all the main characters, but they all just have a look of absolute uncertainty and just fear because of what is to come. He has the iconic Obi-Wan and Anakin lightsaber interlocking on Mustafar, Vader's helmet shadowy in the background. It's always just kind of been my favorite. Favorite, not just because my favorite movie, but just everything that it represents for what that movie is. And I just love it to death. And I'm sad he's gone. And I'm even more sad he never really did a complete set for the sequel trilogy. I really wish he could have. I know there's a great fan selection out there that somebody did, and they look really great. But I would have liked to have seen what he would have done for the official posters. So yeah, I'm just really sad he's gone. And I will say this too. I can't take credit for this. It's something I read on I think a Variety or Deadline article recently. Somebody talked about how they preferred back in the old days when it used to be like hand painted posters rather than the more digital stuff we have now. And although I like what we have currently, I will say, much like how somebody might say practical effects are better than CGI, or the volume on location is better than the volume and all that. And there's nuance and complexity to all that. I like a lot of it, but there is something special about hand painted that just really just tugs at my heartstrings a little. But be it the Indiana Jones stuff, the Star Wars stuff, what he did for everything else, basically. So yeah, I'm sad he's gone, but his work will live on forever.
You're absolutely right. There is complexity to the conversation, and I think we have some beautiful art out there, and technology is going to assist it. That's the case. But what you're talking about is something that Joseph always brings up, just that humanity, right? Just the choices, the connection, direct connection from hand to soul to art. I think that's what you're feeling there. And a great point.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And you talking about Revenge of the Sith. I think, a lot of his posters, what we're talking about, they're movie posters, they're advertisements. And they have all the aspects of the film you're about to watch or the film you love. But his posters, especially some of the bigger ones, like Revenge of the Sith, are kind of part of the movie preview process for me, where you're like, oh, this is what we're about to get into. This is the ride we're about to take. And I think that's beautiful as well.
I agree. And Attack of the Clones, you got Padme and Anakin quite close together. You're going to get some love story, and you got clones. You got clones charging, so we're going to get some battle action too.
There you go. Thanks for calling in, James. Though Jeannie from Tahini wants to know, how was the wedding?
Oh, I danced like crazy, and it was an absolute blast. Sadly, no Chapel Roan. I'm afraid.
Okay.
I was so sad. I was like, oh, dang it, no Chapel Roan. But I thank Jeannie from Tahini. It was a really great time, and no Chapel Roan, but the food always delicious.
Weddings, no disrespect to those getting married and their love story, but weddings are only remembered by the food and the music. So it sounds like you got a good experience.
Yes, it was a wonderful experience. I also saw someone drinking water out of a flower vase. So that was an interesting memory.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Happened later in the night. So
yeah, it sounds like you went to a Dothraki wedding. Did at least 3 people die? This sounds like you had a great time.
Thankfully, no. Too bad. I would have liked to have bowed my feet at my Khaleesi, though, because
same as well.
Begging that she would not have burned me to death. I hope.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
You,
James,
really
thanks. You got it. Thanks for calling in. I got time for a couple more calls if you want to call out in here. Daryl with a great comment said he has 2 of Drew's art books, and I just love looking through them, admiring the art. Daryl says, I also remember looking forward to the Star Wars prequel posters as much as the trailers. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at there too, where it is just it's part of the whole package, part of falling in love and staying in love with these movies and these big things, that they're not just simply a movie you're watching. There's something you're going to take with you, and those posters definitely I think are a part of that there as well. Matthew Stokes says weddings are a lot like sport. It's not about winning or losing. It's about how drunk you get. Yeah, I think that's fair. Thank you to Igor the Bad for a generous super chat. Thanks for the stream, he says. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good luck to the rest of the ForceCenter crew. Hopefully everyone is staying safe. We are trying to stay safe. We got through a little bit of a rainstorm out here. We are heroes for braving the one day of rain out here in California, but we got through. But Joseph, who knows what weather he's dealing with out there. If you're just joining now, ForceCenter Live here for a few more minutes. Happy to be hanging out with you here. We're going to try to do this every Friday. We'll do the big monthly live streams as well, but I just love hanging out with you all here for an hour or so and taking your calls. If you want to call in, you're a Patreon member at patreon.com/ForceCenter. You'll see the link there for today's stream, which will get you in there. If you want to be camera ready, great. If not, that's okay too as well. Addie says, for the goal and the Chinese takeout. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You'll have to report in the Discord, Addie, what your full order was. And how much of it you ate, how much is leftovers. There's a joy in leftovers, right? So there you go. Let me check on the poll. I got a random poll. It's It's got great purpose in there. Don't you worry about it. Pick a number, folks. 27, 43, 6, 56. The leader is still 27. 27 seems like it'll be gone. Igor says something. What do you go? Oh, I've been a patron for a long time now and only just remember the Will of Force stuff. I always use YouTube normally. Yeah, and a little note on that. We are Will of the Force, our monthly Patreon only show, which Joseph and I go to a Star Wars art of or encyclopedia visual dictionary book and pick something out and talk about it. Is not done. Just kind of an unexpected hiatus basically over the last year as Joseph and I got a little wrapped up in other things, but it is not done. It will be back. Daryl also says, Matthew says the goal started about 20 minutes before the video, by the way. I don't know how that happened. Thank you, YouTube. JMB, thank you for the generous super chat here as well. Daryl says the Phantom Menace poster was especially special. It was also the cover of the novelization and the PS1 game. It was everywhere, and it really captures the innocence of Anakin. Yeah, I am really in love with that poster. I think that might be, like I said earlier, my favorite of the Star Wars ones. It is just absolutely epic, and the Maul face, the lens flares kind of around Anakin, and you got Padme at her most Amidala-like. You got the Naboo one starfighter, early R2 and 3PO. Even our beloved Jar Jar appearing on the poster. The entire adventure was there, so I'm there for that one there as well. All right, I think we're. I want to take, if you still got a call and a memory or a comment about the art of Drew Struzan, please get in there now. But I got to let's get the poll up here. Let's end the poll. I'm going to end the poll here. I'll end the poll here in about 1 minute. Get in there if you haven't voted. 41 votes. Pick a number. 27, 43, 6, 56. It's looking like you're not going to be able to overcome 27 if you have any other choices. But we'll go to that as well. Igor the Mad says the Phantom Menace poster is maybe the best of the entire saga. I'm not gonna. No wrong answer, but I'm with you on that one. I don't have a lot of room in my house to hang posters anymore, but I think that might be one that I would proudly hang right next to the Phantom Menace teaser poster that I have with the young Anakin in the shadow there as well. Tully checking in, new Big TV debating which Star Wars to watch first. Oh, let's help Tully decide this. Good to hear from you, Tully. I think Big TV. It's a Friday night, Tully. You're order yourself some bad food tonight, okay? If you can get that. I honestly think maybe you need to go old school. I think you maybe need to go to A New Hope. I wouldn't normally do that. Addie says Last Jedi. Eli says Force Awakens. Igor says Mandalorian. That's not a bad idea either. Andor would be a good choice because it's just a beautifully shot show, but that's an investment on a Friday night. I'd maybe consider Solo. But I think, Tully, in honor of just our nostalgic feelings for the work of Drew, go back to 77 in whatever version you own. Go back and watch Star Wars A New Hope on that big screen because you get that trench run. You can experience that trench run. Get your sound all set up. Get your Domino's pizza, your Chinese food, and the ice cream you're going to order. Tully, I'm planning a big night for you. Tully, you deserve it. Give yourself this treat. Though Jeannie from Tahini's not wrong. Revenge of the Sith, the opening scene. Those drums coming in there. And David McKay's right. You could test the sound system with the Attack of the Clones. All right, you know what? I think what we're planning for you, Tully, is an entire weekend. I think your weekend plans have been made. Generous super chat from our buddy Matthew Stokes over there, sending some pounds in. If nothing else, it goes to show how important a good film poster is. And there seem to be few iconic ones these days. Yeah, it's not that there isn't wonderful people working on promotions and movie posters and all those things now. There's that thing too. I bring it up. I've brought it up before. Definitely over on the Blathering, which I hope you all come hang out with us sometimes here. But it's It's why, Taco Bells used to look unique and special, but now they look like regular buildings that you can paint and change real quickly because that's the name of the game. It's an investment. And if this one fails, another one comes in. There's no life to these things. There's no uniqueness to these things. And I get that in some sense, but I think that's true. That's true in movie posters. The trailers, we got great modern trailers in Star Wars and other films as well, but even those can start to become similar, the beats. And it just takes true artists to come along to maybe change the game. So Matthew Stokes says, what was the last movie poster anyone saw that made you think that's a classic? That's a good question. Tully said all of these are excellent options, by the way. Will Dixon brings up a good option, too. Phantom Menace, that pod race on a big screen. I don't know. All right. We got another call here from an actual TIE pilot. He is flown in the Imperial Navy. I'm kidding. Jared, you are camera ready. Yes, you are. Okay, here we go. Jared, the TIE pilot. How you doing, my friend?
Too bad. Ken, how are we feeling today?
We're feeling good. It's a Friday. I might treat myself to some exercise tonight.
I mean... Is that really a treat, or
yeah, feel good about myself.
A little masochistic tonight or something.
Yeah, a little bit, a little column A, a little column B, a little column A. What's your thoughts here, Drew Struzan, and where you want to go? I
mean, the man was. It sounds simple to say, but the man was just pure artist. I mean, like everybody says, when's the last time you saw a movie poster and went, "Damn"? It's been a while. We got nothing but floating heads these days. And that man was able to take Quiet Star Trek.
Star Trek? Oh, you're trying to sneak Star Trek in here? Oh. You and Tully about to gang up on me with DS9? Is that what it is?
Oh, well, actually, I got Janeway and Voyager speaking over my shoulder at the moment. But beautiful. No, he had a great ability to just take a story and be able to put it in one picture. Whether it was that Raiders or A New Hope, everything was there. It wasn't a mess, and you could see the story in that one frame. And that is not an easy task to accomplish. And he did it every time he put paint to pen or paper. I mean,
yeah, or whatever. Paint to somewhere. I don't know how art works.
Yeah, I play music, man.
You slap at a bass. I talk at a microphone.
Exactly.
We're different kind of artists. No, I appreciate your thoughts on that. And you are an artist. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That is what you need to do. You need to capture 2 hours of story and action and character and pain and suffering and hope and joy and resolutions all in the film there. So there you go. Great, man. Do you have a lot of things hanging in your room there. Do you have any Star Wars or Drew Struzan art there that
I don't, unfortunately. If you look around my room, it's basically all horror shit with, my TIE pilot helmet. Fucking.
Well, yeah, you got it, because at any moment's notice, you got to fly out, and oppress the galaxy.
Inferno Squad might call up any time to turn our backs on the Empire during Project Cinder.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to take down the Empire from the inside.
I said, and Iden Versio and Inferno Squad are my TIE pilots of choice right there. That was such a fun story to me, as being a man who's obsessed with pilots and just the design of, as you've always said, the Empire always had the coolest toys and the biggest pieces of poop.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that, that we've gotten to the point in Star Wars where you can have those complex characters, who are all in. Family was all in, just didn't, as far as they were concerned, as ForceCenter likes to say, the trains were on time. But then all of a sudden you open your eyes and it's just like, wait a second, I don't want to burn my house down.
Yeah. I think I might be overdue for a Battlefront 2 story playthrough, because, as I've said here many times, and I've had the pleasure of being around and knowing Janina Gavankar, but I love that character of Iden Versio. I love the story behind it. And, maybe it could be timely. Maybe we need a little bit more. These orders don't seem so good. I'd like to do something else. Yeah, I think it's important. And her father, man, it represents an interesting kind of, I realize I've done wrong, but it is truly too late for me. And I'm taking those lumps, and you got to go on and be better. It's one of my favorite moments in the last 10 years.
it's a beautiful Star Wars story. It really is, and like you said,
Really
very timely for the shenanigans we must see every day. But
again, back to some of the things out there.
Yeah. But back to the point, Struzan was just.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see another poster artist like him, and not because there aren't talented people out there, but I feel like the executives and the heads, they don't want that anymore. They just, if it's starring, not to put him down, but if it's starring Robert Downey Jr., we just want to see his face on the poster. That's all we want. We want to sell it that way. We don't need to tell the story of Avengers 55. Just give us floating heads.
Yeah, and Addie brought that up earlier in the first call of the day, but just, large head and then bloop, 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 all the heads around it. There's your characters. And to me, it's, I don't think they're not worried about spoilers. They're worried about what you're talking about. And I don't know, and we're not going to lay this on the feet of RDJ Jr., by the way. But, who knows what contracts call for the size of faces on posters, and who I don't know any of that right now. I know that some of that stuff happens, but it just seems like films spend so much on marketing, and that's very true. And when you hear these big budgets for films, a lot of it's on marketing. A lot of it's to try to get the film out. And this is kind of one of the key pieces of marketing is this. Some modern age clip art on a large scale. Like if you could sell a Drew Struzan piece to really sell this thing, I don't know, but I'm not, we're not in those very comfy seats up there on the top floor.
Yeah. I didn't even think of the point you just made of actors being like, no. Not only do I get first billing in the credits, the poster is all about me. So,
right.
That's, with the way egos are these days and the contracts they get, that's a great point. I mean, it's just, will anybody let artists make money and make good art these days?
David McKay saying 100%. Sam Witwer got Drew Struzan to do a poster for a show Being Human, and the network went with generic promotional photos. Yeah, that's tragic. But we're here to celebrate the wonderful legacy. Those posters always exist. Jared, I appreciate you calling in, and thank you for taking down the Empire from the inside.
Always, anytime, brother. You guys stay safe. We'll see you next time.
All right, I'll see you on the blathering maybe later this weekend, my friend. All right, yep. Jared the TIE Pilot, check it in. All right, I'm going to end this poll. It was a runaway vote. Runaway vote. All right, so the finals here. Pick a number: 27, 43, 6, 56. 27 wins 47% to 21% for number 43. Okay, here we go. So I've got this right next to me. This is as I've shown before, my original. You can see the yellowing from the 80s. This is 80s wear and tear, as I've shown before here. But I'll just, for those who haven't seen it before, I guess I'll hide a little bit of my old phone number. Not that that's active anymore, but there it is. There's my name, and there is. You're getting a lot of. This is serving as a basically. I'm bouncing light back on it, but there's my name, Little Kenny Knapsack. So we're going to go into here, just like we used to do in Wheel of Force. We're going to page 27 and seeing what is on the page. 28, 27. Oh, you all chose wonderfly. This right here. We got low gray. We've got low gray, right? Yeah. No, is that low gray? No, is it pop blue? We got an Ewok. That's what we got. There he is. This is David McKay. Look at that. Trying to look at that wonderful. That guy's wise. Also on this page, right here. Look at that. And this is Tebow. It's Tebow. Thank you. I was drawing a blank. I have a Tebow Kenner on card right over there. Why not? I just was so. I needed Jen here to clean up my Ewok knowledge. But on the other side, this is why I love this. This magazine remains some of my favorite. Because here you're a young kid flipping through this page. Get some ASMR page flipping for you. And then you get to this exciting shot here. Ooh, you got this. But then over here you got Joe Johnston in the corner. For audio listeners, you can go to page minute 55. Visual effects art director Joe Johnston sketching storyboards for special effects shot. Just that description alone. Visual effects art director Joe Johnston sketching storyboards for special effects shots. As a young kid, I'm 7 or 8 reading that. That transports me in an entire new world where I'm going, wait, you're telling me this stuff, this fantastic Tebow, definitely not Drunk Pop Blue. This, one of my favorite scenes of all time and something I gravitated to right away. Luke defeating his father in a way, even though that's not quite what's going on. That was in part done by someone like this. This magazine opened up my Star Wars world, and that's why I'll hold on to this one. And I have other copies as well, like this classic shot of the speeder bike and all the people inside. And, of course, we got a giant splash page right there. So there you go. We'll do that again. Random pages. That's that. You guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out with me here today on this special edition of ForceCenter Callback Live. Like I said, cool, catchy name pending. We don't need to waste too much energy on it. It will show up naturally. We'll be back Monday live for some Star Wars news. Try to get back to some Star Wars questions and be live again next Friday as well. I appreciate you all. If you're not a Patreon supporter, go ahead and hang out with us on Patreon. Get in the Discord. Support us at patreon.com/ForceCenter. And join the party over there. All right. Follow me at Cat Knapsack. Check out the blathering. Come over to my YouTube channel. We do the call-in shows every week, 3 times a week. So join us for that silly fun as well. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter. Bye.